Alright, let's see what we have to do today. A lot. Alright, let's make a list. Seems pretty doable. I'm not gonna answer it. I don't even hear it. But I don't want to miss anyone's call. It's not really like me. Alright, I'll pick it up. I'll just talk for a minute. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I know, long time no talk. No, I'm not up to anything. You doing anything? What's up? Let's catch up.
I wonder if Damien's gonna marry his fiance. I could check, but I have to do work or watch an episode.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I have to listen to my new Discover Weekly playlist on Spotify. I love new music. What is this for? Oh my god, my assignment is due in 10 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Loud and Clear. Today we're going to be focusing on motivation. You ever just find yourself finding any possible excuse to not do what you're supposed to be doing? Yeah, me either. No, but seriously, COVID has really been testing my motivation and willpower, so I wanted to kind of talk about this with you all because I think it's something that everyone can apply to their daily lives. So how do you keep yourself motivated? Keep these questions in the back of your mind while the rest of this episode plays out. I know that for me, the biggest part of starting my motivation every day is making myself take that first step. Sometimes that's quite literally taking the first step out of bed. So how do we get this motivation started? Well, first things first, you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. So this includes things like sleep hygiene, personal hygiene, and also giving yourself enough time to rest and not overwork yourself. These are just a few things that should be consistent in your everyday life. But it's not always that easy. This is something that I've struggled with for a really long time, and granted that it has gotten a lot better now, there are still days where it's hard to take that first step. Starting from the beginning, ask yourself, are you eating as much as you need to be? Are you sleeping as much as you need in order to have a successful day? If not, maybe reassess how you can adjust that and improve. Think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. For me, it's essential that I have a routine set and structured, like I've said before. So I make myself wake up around 8:30 every single morning. I go to bed around the same time every night. I mean, it depends what show I'm binging or if I am, but usually I try to get to bed before midnight. And having this basis for sleep, it just has improved so much of my productivity. Alright, so now I have sleep. I have my foundation. That's the thing that really helps me thrive the most. But breakfast, most important meal of the day, hello. Alright, so maybe some of you aren't breakfast eaters. That's okay because I wasn't for a really long time. But what I'm getting at is just making sure that your body is getting the nutrients that it needs. And with that too, please make sure you are drinking water. I know it sounds really repetitive and you've heard it from so many sources at this point, but it is so important to be hydrated. Alright, so let's recap real quick. Now I've talked about getting a healthy amount of sleep every single night and consistently, and with that, adhering to your routine. So me, waking up at 8:30, not going to bed really that much past midnight. And then 3, making sure your body has enough nutrients. Alright, not gonna rant about that anymore, this is not a health class. But it's really important to have that as a foundation. So now that we have this as a foundation, we can build on top of it. This really ties in with mental health, but making sure that you give yourself enough space in your routine to relax. I know this is something I talked about in my last episode, but it's actually really important. Now, exactly going along with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have the basic needs that we have fulfilled right now, hypothetically, to live, to sustain life. We're gonna build on top of that now. When you think about it, the whole basis of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that with a sturdy foundation layering up, you'll be able to reach what's called self-actualization. Not going to get into that with this episode, but it's basically stressing the importance of making sure that you have your basic needs up until your very complex needs met in order to get to where you want to go. I mentioned this a little bit in the last episode, and this is not going to be the last time you hear me talk about it, but I want you guys to be thinking about, again, identifying your values, because when you know your values, your actions become a lot more clear as to what you should do in order to make yourself successful and healthy. This includes things like, again, asking yourself, is what I'm doing now contributing to a successful future or the future that I want? If the answer is no, you have to go back to the drawing board and see what will work. You never know what's going to work until you go out and do it. And it's scary and it's terrifying having such a vulnerable situation tied to you, but I promise you, you will not know what's going to happen unless you go out and try it. Honestly, without sugarcoating it, and to go along with one of my favorite people, Brené Brown, you're gonna get your ass kicked when you take risks, but it's all a part of learning and growing. Growth is not just about good things that happen to you. If anything, the most growth results in adversity and things that you've experienced that really help shape who you are, even if you don't see it in the moment. Now, this all would be ideal given that, the basis of your health, like your eating, drinking, sleep, are all level, but if they're not level, then it feels virtually impossible to even take that first step. But there has to be balance in having a day where you lounge and relax, and then having a day where you do need to be productive. And that's really the focus of this episode. I've talked a lot about finding balance in things, but it's really hard to get out of a funk once you're in it and once you're comfortable and used to doing it for so long. So if you've never made a list before, or if you really haven't tried having a routine, I encourage you to try it. What I do that really helps me is on Sunday nights I will sit down for only takes me like 10-15 minutes. I look up all the assignments that I have to do for school, and then I write it down in a notebook and I have it written out. So then when I complete a task, I can check it off and I can see all the work I have. Again, it can be really overwhelming for some people if you make a list and you see all of these things that you have to do. But dividing it day by day, Monday through Friday, it makes it so much less overwhelming. If you do things like take a walk around your neighborhood and it feels kind of repetitive, maybe you switch your route a little bit if you're able to, and have your brain think about the unknown instead of just going on autopilot and doing your everyday routine. I know that sometimes routine can get really boring once you get into it, but if you add a little thing here and there to spice it up, I promise you it'll feel different and your brain will actually process it differently. It's kind of like having a playlist and playing it without being on shuffle for a long time, and then you know what song's gonna come up next. But then the second you put it on shuffle and one of your songs ends and you expect another one to come and it doesn't, your brain doesn't know what to do. It's trying to make sense of everything. So I encourage you, put your lives on shuffle. At the end of the day, the earth keeps spinning and the sun rises and sets. Things continue and things will get better. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm really excited to get this channel up and running finally. Stay tuned for next week. We have an episode coming up on Friday. And also, if you're interested, I'll include a link in my description. I recently had an interview with Matthew Shapiro from NAMI, New York State. Really interesting stuff. I open up more about BPD and how I coped during COVID. If you're interested, click the link below.